Welcome to the Explainer. All right, let's just jump right into it. You know that incredibly frustrating scenario? You find the absolute perfect article, or the exact documentation you need, or maybe a crucial public report. You save the link, you think it's safe, and you move on. But relying on the live web to save your important information? Yeah, that's a really risky game. So today, we're exploring a pretty fascinating tool built to counter this ephemeral web. It's all about preserving pages permanently with a system called KhanPDF.
Seriously, have you ever clicked a saved link only to get hit with that dreaded 404 error? Or, maybe the page actually loaded, but the specific information you needed was quietly deleted, or the whole layout just completely broke? The web is constantly changing, right? Pages update, domains expire, and critical information simply vanishes into the digital ether. A link is absolutely not permanent, and that becomes a massive problem when you actually need reliable records.
So, here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the broken web problem, meet OCR-enriched PDFs, and see exactly how KhanPDF works. Then we'll check out its powerful customization features, who actually benefits from this, and finally, some best practices for mastering your conversions.
All right, part 1, the broken web problem, or exactly why our standard bookmarks keep failing us.
Think about your standard browser bookmarks for a second. They totally rely on an active internet connection, the content can just vanish without warning, and the layouts, they break all the time. Now, compare that flimsy link to a saved PDF. A PDF gives you a fixed, permanent copy of the page exactly as it was the moment you saved it. It preserves the original layout, and you can access it offline, literally anytime. It is a rock-solid local record.
Moving on to part 2. Meet OCR-enriched PDFs, because moving beyond flat pixels is absolutely crucial if we want to make our saved pages actually useful.
So the core idea behind KhanPDF is beautifully simple, but it is incredibly powerful. Essentially, it's a tool custom-built to convert public URLs into clean, OCR-enriched PDF documents. It captures the web page, converts it, and processes it, so you end up with a document you can actually interact with rather than just, a flat picture of a web page.
And let's quickly define that acronym just so we're all on the same page. OCR stands for Optical Character Recognition. It's basically the technology that detects visible text from a captured page image. Because without OCR, a screenshot is literally just a flat image. Sure, you can read it with your eyes, but to your computer, it's just a bunch of useless pixels. With OCR, though, the final PDF becomes searchable, selectable, and immensely more useful. You can actually highlight text, copy important lines, or pull data right out of the document.
This is really where the core value lies. A standard screenshot is purely visual. The text is completely unsearchable. It's a dead end. But an OCR-enriched PDF, that gives you the absolute best of both worlds. You get the perfect visual layout of the page, plus selectable, searchable text. It takes a static image and transforms it into structured data that you can easily read, store, and share with your team.
Part 3, how KhanPDF works. Let's dive right into the mechanics of this incredibly frictionless process. It all comes together in a super straightforward 4-step workflow. Step 1, you just enter a public URL. Step 2, the system captures the complete page layout. We're talking all the HTML, CSS, the images, the whole shebang. Step 3, it processes that visible content with OCR text recognition. And finally, step 4, you just download your clean, structured PDF. It really is that simple. There's no bloated software to install, just a direct pipeline from a live web page to a permanent offline document.
Now, you might be wondering, what about modern, heavily scripted websites? This is a really important detail. KhanPDF actually supports complex HTML, CSS, and dynamic content rendered with JavaScript. We all know modern websites often load their content using JavaScript way after the initial page loads, right? Well, KhanPDF is smart enough to handle those pages where content appears dynamically. That makes it a real game changer for capturing modern web apps, complex dashboards, and heavy documentation pages.
All right, Section 4, Powerful Customization Features. This is all about tailoring your output to fit your exact professional needs. KhanPDF definitely doesn't limit you to some rigid, one-size-fits-all file. You have total control here. You get custom margins for compact or spacious layouts, and specific paper sizes like A4, letter, or legal if you're actually planning to print it out. You can toggle between portrait or landscape orientation. Want to keep those exact colors and gradients? Just enable background printing support. You can also choose between print or screen media rendering, and even add custom headers and footers for stuff like page numbers or the original source URL. Oh, and for those really massive, heavy web pages, it uses async processing, meaning it handles the heavy lifting in the background without freezing up your workflow. Pretty neat, right?
Which brings us to Section 5. Who actually benefits from KhanPDF? Let's anchor this to some real-world practical applications.
Obviously, different professions have entirely different archiving needs. For instance, students and researchers can save complex academic articles for offline searchable reading. Developers can archive API docs and GitHub pages so that their technical guides are perfectly preserved, and more importantly, searchable when the internet goes down. Businesses and marketers, they can capture competitor pages, add landing pages, or public reports as fixed PDFs to easily track changes over time. And for legal and compliance teams, this is huge. They get permanent, time-stamped proof of public online content. It gives everyone a stable, immutable version that a whole remote team can view exactly the same way.
And finally, Section 6, Mastering Your Conversions. Let's quickly go over some best practices so you get flawless results every single time.
To get the absolute best out of this tool, keep a few pro tips in your back pocket. First off, always use publicly accessible URLs. The tool can't bypass logging screens or private authenticated sessions. Second, if a page is notoriously slow or is packed with dynamic charts, just increase your render timeouts. That ensures the content actually fully loads before the capture happens. Third, definitely use landscape mode for super wide dashboards or data tables. And lastly, if the visual design, like banners and background colors, really matters to you, make absolutely sure you enable background printing.
Now, I do need to mention a quick but critical security note. Avoid converting private dashboards, personal records, or confidential data. KhanPDF is specifically designed for public URLs and non-sensitive content. While OCR-enriched PDFs are fantastic for accessibility and archiving, you really shouldn't be converting private pages unless your specific workflow is designed with the proper security controls in place.
So let's summarize all of this with one core takeaway. Instead of only saving a link or taking a basic, flat screenshot, KhanPDF gives users a better way to keep web page content in a professional document format. Because true web archiving, it isn't just about saving a visual memory. It's about preserving actionable, searchable data in a format you can actually use professionally.
Which brings us to our final thought for today's explainer. What critical web page will you lose tomorrow simply because you only saved a link today? Seriously, don't wait for a 404 error to wipe out your important research or records. It's time to start preserving your essential web pages the right way. Thanks so much for joining me, and hey, happy archiving!